Day 13. Today we shift from principles to values. The next 9 days you will be challenged to integrate these values into your being. Please remember that God does not call us to what we think we can do. He calls us to the things that only He can do through us. Thus, we can do these things only as we surrender to Him. With the principles forming in your heart, it is time to step ever closer to the life He has in mind for you. Value number 1. Faith. Without faith, you can do nothing. But faith is not just believing. Believing is a step, but only the first step. True faith is believing and doing. What if Peter had stood in the boat and said, "No, really, Jesus, I believe it's you. You want me to get out of the boat? Well, that's just not logical. No, I'm staying right here, but I really do believe in you." The evidence of the strength of our faith is in the fruit that our lives produce. Matthew chapter 7, verse 17. That is not fruit we produce. It is the fruit that God produces through us. When we bear the fruit the vine produces, we are merely called to hold it, not to produce it. John chapter 15, verse 5. Faith is the bridge that allows us to tap into His understanding and His ability. Faith says, "Be at peace," even when the world is lashing at us to convince us not to be at peace. Faith says, "God's got this all under control," even when chaos swirls around us. Faith says, "God has a plan," even when everything seems out of control. As our lives begin to change in ways God has planned, it will take great faith on our part to continue to surrender, to continue to take the steps we're asked to take, even if we don't understand, to continue to breathe and trust. Because the deeper we go with God, the more He will ask of us. He will send us on scarier missions, more desperate missions, more important missions, not because He believes in us, but because He knows we will trust Him. Think for a moment about someone with great love who has left a legacy of good in the world, who you think of as a role model, someone who really stood on God's promises. No matter who that person is, I believe their journey to immortality, even here on earth, was their choice to have faith. Faith for the future, faith for the present, faith for this step. Do you have that kind of faith? If you don't, and even if you think you do, then stop relying on your faith and start trusting God to use His faith in your life. God is ever faithful and will be faithful even when you cannot be. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 23. You can rest in that knowledge. Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. Our prayer for the day. Dear Lord, I know you have had this part of my life planned since you first thought of me. I ask you, Lord, to help me take the steps you are asking me to take. If those steps are to free me from something in my past, or to take steps into my future, I ask you to be with me and to guide me so that I know how to take them. Knowing you are there, trusting that you will hold me up, and loving me every moment. I am ready to leap from the cliff, Lord. Help me to soar. Amen. You may record your thoughts in your journal. Like and subscribe to the Staci Stallings YouTube channel so you never miss a second of the story. This has been The 912 Project, written by Staci Stallings, narrated by Staci Stallings. Copyright 2009. Audio produced by Staci Stallings. Production copyright 2023.